For the last 15 years, Alex Polizzi has spent her career telling people how to run a hotel. Now she's putting her money where her mouth is as she attempts to open one of her own.
I'm really anxious, but I brought this on myself.
As a descendant of the Forte Hotel dynasty, she knows the hospitality industry inside out.
The only conversation that I can remember, it was always about hospitality, it was always about work.
For years, she helped run her mother's 2 luxury hotels.
A thing that has always really driven me is I never want to disappoint my mother.
Now, for the first time, they've gone into business together as equal partners.
This is the first time I haven't had complete control. No, these aren't any good.
Oh, God.
In 2019, they bought a 37-bedroom medieval coaching inn in East Sussex.
Windows all over this building are rotten. Oh, God.
In need of a complete overhaul.
Oh, hell, what have I done?
Their dream was to create a high-end boutique hotel in just 6 months and reopen for the summer season.
I feel completely overwhelmed by the scale of it.
Opening a hotel is a nightmare.
But 16 months later, having struggled with spiralling costs, serious delays and a worldwide pandemic,
You must stay at home.
the hotel is still a building site, and the Polizzis are opening in 8 weeks.
We need to get this done. I mean, I definitely can't open like this, can I?
As they battle with the builders to finish the hotel
Where are you? I'll come to you, Paul, please.
and struggle to find enough staff,
We've probably got 40% of what we need.
Between Brexit and people being furloughed and leaving the industry, and I've never seen it this hard before.
what state will the hotel be in on opening day?
No, it just keeps going off again.
The first night of opening is a pretty disastrous beginning for me.
It's nearly a year and a half since Alex and Olga took possession of the Star. After numerous setbacks, the hotel's opening date has been forced to move 4 times.
So, 2 people. Lovely.
But now, almost a year later than planned and nearly £2 million over budget, there is finally an official opening date. And the hotel is already fully booked for its first month.
Have you done yet?
In the last 4 months, there's been real progress with some of the hotel renovations. The 18 rooms in the 60s block at the back of the hotel have been totally renovated and are almost done. The 4 junior suites are not far behind. A new courtyard has been created as there was no outside space, and the design for it is starting to take shape.
So far, this lot are doing we've got the new flint wall, which, by the way, is a thing of great beauty. Congratulations. Even my mother liked the flint wall. I know, it doesn't happen often.
And most of the repair work on the rotten beams at the front of the hotel has been done. But in the middle, the bedrooms being renovated as part of a second phase of work to create 7 larger rooms are still a long way off.
The latest disaster in my life to hit me yesterday was that this is not the colour that I thought I was getting. What would you call that colour? I would call it yellow. So it's not supposed to be yellow, it's supposed to be a linen colour, which is a kind of cream.
Downstairs, the new reception area is also a cause for concern.
This is the area that's going to be the problem. None of this area is decorated. A new staircase has to go in. The new reception desk has to be fitted, but can't be fitted until it's all tiled. So it's a real jigsaw. Come on, get past then. It's all right. Tea break, is it now?
The estimated time to complete all this work is another 8 weeks, right up to the opening day on the 14th of June.
We've spent £4 million on this place already, and I think we've improved it immeasurably. We've been very respectful to the fabric of the building. We need a following wind at this point. We just don't have time for any hesitations or any more delays. You know, I'm really worried that we're not going to get this hotel open at all. Do I help you, Paul?
As well as being across all the outstanding building work, Alex has the added pressure of making sure her mum's design elements are exactly as she wants them.
So we've got one room that's much smaller than in the other room in the house, and Mum saw this bed and decided to buy it. It's made it very complicated because we then had to find a paint colour especially for this room, and it's going to have its very own scheme. I mean, this is going to be an awkward little mattress, isn't it?
It's tiny.
Mum is quite used to having lots of people just doing what she says, and I'm just one of her minions. I'm not quite sure how this is going to work. We've got 8 weeks and counting. Do we really want to be distracted by having to make a bed base? Not so sure.
Today, Olga is on site to inspect the latest developments at the hotel.
It's nice.
It's a bit awkward. It's tiny.
So would you have slats across?
So if we made a perimeter, sat 18mm ply in it and put a couple of legs down, then I think you'd give your strength off the original legs around the outside, and then the middle would hold itself. Unless we can buy a bed and butcher it.
I think so too.
As a world-renowned designer, Olga is in charge of the overall style of the hotel.
A sense of place is what I always try and give. That's my style, I suppose. Everything here I'm trying to do, everything's to do with nature here. You know, we've done birds, we've done flowers, we've done leaves. I've tried to major on, because that's what Sussex, in a way, is all about. Wonderful walking, wonderful flowers.
But as this hotel is a mixture of old and new, it brings its own unique design challenges. The modern areas of the hotel will be decorated with a countryside-influenced palette of green, yellow and blue.
So let's go this way.
Head builder Dave Humphreys, the man in charge of the hotel renovations, has been asked to talk Olga and Alex through the work that's still outstanding. And first stop is the library.
I wonder why that's gone like that up there.
Oh, it looks like salts.
That doesn't look right, does it? And it looks
Might be
like
just a stain, the first coat. That's damp.
Well, it's not the first coat, though. He'd finished in here.
Do you want to keep on going round, or do you want me to go and have a look?
No, let's keep going round, and I'll leave you to it. And you know that this window has to be changed for the bathroom window.
Yeah, we'll swap them over.
So that's a bit disappointing, Dave, that at this point in the show, we've had to make a big hole in the floor.
We couldn't turn it off.
The kitchen had been a week away from being completed until the discovery the building was missing a water main stopcock.
No,
I can't believe that they didn't know that there wasn't a stopcock in the building. What would
Well,
have...
there was other stopcocks for other areas, but not a main stopcock.
Well,
So
that's...
we could shut all the wings off, but you couldn't shut off the main.
So when is that being done?
Now, by the looks of it.
No, it's been like that for a week at least.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll
So
find out.
that would, because obviously also that's...
Don't worry, that finishes the kitchen.
Well, that's
Yeah.
stopped all the other work, hasn't it? But, you know, that's a big delay again. It's just all things that you just actually, that you know, the nuts and bolts of the building worry me currently much more than the aesthetics. So I'm just really trying to make sure that we've got everything else that we need.
Bit nervous? Going by this morning, I don't think we'll be out the end of June.
But with the hotel fully booked from opening day in mid-June, Dave will have to be finished by then. With opening 8 weeks away, Olga has to push on and buy furniture. So today, she's shopping for antiques with her design consultant.
I'm here with Annie, who's worked with me for years, and she's very, very good at sourcing things. It's quite sweet.
It's very pretty. I like the little bit of red, and it breaks it up
Yes.
from all the wooden ones.
Gosh, I can't say no to that.
It's a pretty colour.
It's a pretty colour. This is a Swedish pine one. I'm sort of desperate. Everything's been closed, and we're now finally opened, and it's as if I've sort of been released from prison.
And how much was this?
That one's 575.
And is that with
Is that
or
to
without
us?
a discount?
Is that
or
to us?
trade discount?
There is a trade discount, yeah.
Good, all right.
This is really rather beautiful.
The most expensive rooms at the hotel have been individually designed and will have bespoke furniture.
I think if you have one really good piece in a room, but I'll mix a really more expensive piece with a cheap piece. And
One piece against the other that sort of lifts the poor relation.
on the whole, I bought some very expensive pieces and some much cheaper pieces. So I think roughly I'm balanced out.
Back at the hotel, the builders are fitting the new staircase in reception, another area that's being completely renovated.
When we bought the hotel, the reception was squashed under the stairs. Tiny little reception, really uncomfortable. We wanted to make a sort of area, more open reception. We moved the doors forward to give a little bit more of an entrance. The first thing that you saw was the staircase, which was a hideous staircase and right in the centre. So we've had it all remade. It's a little bit more elegant.
If this looks a bit fiddly, it's not normally a staircase. You can, there's all sorts that can go wrong.
With the build schedule for completing so tight, the smallest delay could have huge consequences. And a hotel can't open without a reception to welcome its guests.
Got to paint the staircase, all the walls, skirtings, architraves and doors. It would only take a piece of granite not to turn up, not able to get the painters. Do you know what I mean? There's lots of things that could happen that would stop it from being completed. It looks like they're just about to try and persuade it into place. Everything makes me nervous and concerned a little bit, but not like the reception area does. We will just do all we can to make sure it opens when it should.
I'm incredibly anxious about actually putting on these rooms. Now a matter of ticking things off the list. Will the hotel be ready? And will I have enough staff to serve everybody? You know, I've got a lot of practical stuff that I'm still trying to work out. I just feel battered. We're just running out of days.
It's now just over a month until Alex and Olga are planning to open their hotel to guests.
Hello, milady.
And today, furnishings for the bedrooms in the 60s block are being moved into place.
So every green room has the chest of drawers, the sofa, the bedside tables and the mattresses. Every blue room, similarly, has all the correct furniture in it. And it took a lot of effort, but it's incredibly satisfying.
While the rooms in the 60s block follow Olga's blue and green scheme, the 7 newly created bedrooms in the middle of the hotel will have a more individual style.
I've got 2 very pretty wallpapers, but this is one which is full of animals, birds, and I'm doing a plain blind with that wallpaper. And then I've added a bit of orange to give it a bit of colour. I haven't used wallpaper for years and years. It's all back now, because in hotels, obviously, it's much easier to paint, because every year you can refresh. And wallpaper's a bit more of a nightmare if you tear it or something happens. So I have used a lot of wallpaper here, which I've never really done before.
Olga has spent thousands of pounds on furnishings for each room, much of which has been stored off-site for months.
Yeah, this is for the little one. They look sweet.
And look how nice that looks.
I was going to put it in the heritage room because I thought we were going to do it in green, but now I've seen this fabric. Could we put it, you know, where we were going to do people changing their shoes?
Well, I think that would be pretty. As we're going through, we're putting the furniture into position. Headboards will go up, mirrors will go up. And hopefully we'll start feeling as if there's some hope of us winning.
Come on, get on with it.
To help get the Star up and running, Alex has now recruited 3 key personnel. General Manager Edward previously worked at the Barclay in London.
It's quite nerve-wracking, filling up all of these bedrooms, so we're making progress. Finally did carpet's being done tomorrow in this corridor, so it's feeling a little bit more like a hotel. There's a huge amount of stuff still to do. So we've got all sorts of hands around, so try and get everything set up.
Head housekeeper Monica has worked for a number of hotels in East Sussex.
Housekeeping is incredibly important. I think it's as important as anything else in a hotel. And then do hospital corners.
Usually we didn't make the bed this way, but it's something new for us to learn, which is really good, yeah.
I'm very, very old, and so I'm very fussy about my own bed, and I don't like the sheet. I hate getting somewhere where the sheets are down here. Or sort of, you know, you have to get right to the bottom of the bed. So I'm very fussy about, and a nice looking bed. It's so nice getting to a fresh, really comfortable bed. Nothing nicer.
I've been in a few kitchen startups, but this is probably the biggest spend on equipment I've ever seen.
In the kitchen, head chef Tim last worked at the renowned Fife Arms in Scotland.
An enjoyable day when your kitchen equipment turns up, soon followed by the pressure of having to use said equipment.
When the hotel is operating at full capacity, it will serve breakfast, lunch and dinner to 60 guests and a further 40 non-resident diners.
We're so staff light. I mean, I'm so worried about the kitchen. The chef has 3 really solid chefs, 1 commie and a pot wash. That's 6 of them. To do breakfast, lunch and dinner 7 days a week. I mean, it's just not possible.
Recruitment, but that's a sore subject for a lot of people in the industry at the moment. We've probably got 40% of what we need.
Saying recruitment is a problem is the understatement of the century. Between Brexit and people being furloughed and leaving the industry, and I've never seen it this hard before.
To be able to accommodate a fully operational hotel, Alex needs approximately 50 full-time staff working on a rota.
You always starting with opening the balcony door or window. We never using air freshener.
But not only is Alex working with a skeleton crew,
Hello, girls.
she doesn't have enough time to train her staff properly.
Please remember at all times that you're representatives of the hotel.
Training that would usually take weeks is being squeezed into a few sessions.
Housekeeping's pretty sorted. I think it's really the restaurant team and the kitchen team that I'm worried about.
Nails must be clean and short and well manicured, okay? No false nails, no nail polish. Don't want to see it at all in service, okay?
At the moment it's fine because we've all got our weekends off and so you kind of survive it. But once guests come in, it is 7 days a week, and when you only have so many pairs of hands, those pairs of hands have to turn themselves to many, many things. Come and sit down, Mouldy.
Where do you want us?
Well, wherever, here.
Today, Alex has asked some of her family to lunch as a trial run for the kitchen and waiting staff.
It's definitely a good little test for the staff, and I'm going to ask questions about the food and generally put them through their paces. What is it that you're serving us? No, so you should always know. Rathfinny. Rathfinny, and it's the local sparkling. Jasmine, do you know what this is, darling?
Yes.
Isn't it the chickpea farinata?
Yes.
Yes? I want every dish put down on the table for every person the same way. You know, it's kind of up to us to train the little younglings to make sure that they actually pull their weight. And then we'll have to do a lot of supervision. Which side is the lead? 9 o'clock. 9. Well, that's 3 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock for the guest. Now, this really, really matters. I think lunch went okay today. I'm painfully aware of how much we've got to teach our staff.
With such a small and inexperienced team, Alex has decided on a phased restaurant launch.
The only way we'll manage it is by restricting customer numbers, which is obviously a shame because you've got a lovely new hotel, you want to show it off, everyone's so excited about coming. What you want to say is, yes, I'll squeeze you in. But, you know, you need hands to put things down on tables and to clear tables and to set up. Now I'll keep it. Thanks, darling.
It's a week until Alex and Olga finally open the hotel they bought 18 months ago. At the front, the bar and restaurant in the medieval section of the hotel are almost ready for the first guests.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that is.
higher.
And the builders have found time to make the base for Olga's antique bed.
Just like we like it, mate. Tat.
But upstairs, it's a different story. Work is still going on in the bedrooms in the middle of the hotel, and time is running out.
If you just put the bed and mattress in that room, then I will do the rest. So today we're trying to preparing everything. So take stuff out of this room, so it's more space in there. Put the beds together, just clean the bedrooms. If we put the stuff in the bedrooms, then we're gonna rush the builders. They will know they have to finish everything on time.
It's going to be very tight to the end, always is. But I think another couple of weeks would have been a little bit more grace for us. Trying to get things in the right procedure now, so we can try and just concentrate on the rooms and then move on to the next bit and just do a little bit harder on the next bit.
At the front, oldest section of the hotel, the builders are restoring the medieval figurines. But this area is listed, and all of it, including the figurines, is subject to tight restrictions.
On the outside of the building, there are lots of little figures, and they were all in very garish colours. I've seen a lot of old postcards with them in gold.
Paul. Darling, can you come out to the front of the high street to meet me, please? Ooh. Darling, I'm not entirely sure who suggested to the painters that they paint over every single other colour that there is, and they've made everything gold.
That's what your mum was asking for.
No, she was asking for everything that was supposed to be gilded to be gilded. You wouldn't dream of overpainting that into gold, or that just into pure gold. You'd paint gold where gold is supposed to be, and red where red is supposed to be.
The picture that we were shown in the 1920s picture was everything was gold.
Hi, Mum. We've got rather an issue on the front of the building in that, for some reason, they've gone bananas and they've decided to paint every single bit of everything gold, which I think will get us into enormous trouble. It looks awful. You didn't ask them to do it, did you? I assumed that the gold bits were going to be the bits that were gold, like the bishop here with the hair, that his mitre would be gold, and the heart that has the crisscross in gold was going to be gilded. Anyway, I'm talking to Paul now about it, but I just wanted to clarify with you. Mum says it's her fault, she wasn't clear enough.
Alex and Olga now have to wait for the local planning authority to decide if gold figurines are acceptable. Until then, painting will have to stop. It's yet another hold-up.
I need the front to be done, I need all the public areas to be done, and I need bedrooms to put guests in. But I also need to train staff, work out where to put everything.
With the opening in 7 days, the clock is ticking and the pressure on Alex mounting. And her troubles don't end there.
Paul, I'm outside the front of the hotel.
A whole row of ensuite bathrooms in the Phase 2 block are in complete disarray.
I mean, what's happened? The marble isn't even finished in the bathrooms. Really, I'm cross now. I mean, honestly, what hope do we have?
Toilets have not been installed and custom-made marble shower seats left unfitted.
And who's doing all the seats? How can we get the bathrooms done unless...
Toilets do the seats.
Where are you? I'll come to you, Paul. Please, just...
I know, but it's not funny, darling. I spent half my life wandering around looking for you. What's happened about the marble?
What do you mean about
Well,
that?
it isn't all in. The seats aren't in. The last strips aren't in.
So the two strips are too short, but they're, I think the last of the tiles are too high, so I was just going to check that now. The seats, the tilers are coming in to fit, so they will be coming in to do a ASAP.
But when, darling? I've got all these people here to put on rooms. It's a real mess, darling, up there. I can't get them to start tackling rooms. The poor girls are cleaning away. I've
Yeah.
told them to get on with it, but obviously I've got that just propped up like that. We're trying to go through the rooms. We're trying to move it so that there's some hope that we can actually get some of the rooms done rather than none of the rooms. So obviously you know that that room's also missing its bit.
I knew about that one, yeah.
And the fact that, again, I'd quite like to get them to clean up, but there's not much hope of it while...
No, okay.
So is there some hope? The carpenter might come
do
and
that.
put on those things and put in the safe so that the girls, when they do this, don't want to kill themselves. And slightly, it does irritate the out of me that I'm still doing things like clearing windowsills. We know that there's a mess everywhere, but I did somehow think that I was going to be able to get into these rooms.
Okay, all right.
Can I have a... Please, can I have a chippy?
Yeah. It's to be expected, it's a stressful time, isn't it? So, and if we've not managed to get stuff sorted when it's supposed to be sorted, I understand.
So all help gratefully accepted. I feel kind of cross with the builders. Everywhere you turn, there's their shit. Absolutely no one picks up after themselves. I understand it's a building site, but it's a week away from being a hotel. We need to get this done. I mean, I definitely can't open like this, can I? I mean, it's a bit like most Mondays. I feel a bit downhearted. And I just can't quite see how on earth I'm going to manage to finish off.
In just 2 days' time, Alex and Olga will be opening their hotel, which is now fully booked for the entire summer season.
Yeah, so it's actually dropped down, obviously, because you've gone into November. So your room now is 290, and then the Star Junior Suite is 330.
In reception, there's still lots to do, and in the rest of the hotel, it's all hands to the pump to try and get everything sorted and perfectly placed.
OK, so on the white sofas, you get two big and two little, one each end.
Yep, yep.
And then, so you start with them, and I'll do some of these on the...
The new outside courtyard, the biggest structural change the Polizzis have made, is undergoing final prep.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's happening whether I like it or not, I think, is the way...
In the dining room, Olga is overseeing the last of the design elements.
We're hanging this rather wonderful painting of an Elizabethan woman, which is just right for this, obviously, for this period of hotel. So I think as long as we leave a little bit of... Isn't she lovely? Wow. And this slowly winks.
She does?
Yes. That's the whole point of the television.
So she goes like,
She suddenly, just very, very slowly winks an eye. So if you're looking at it, you think, what's happened? Yeah. Go on. Oops. Did you see it?
At the front, another area of concern has also been resolved.
Apparently they are sort of 16th century carvings. A lot of people seem to think they're sort of like their interpretation of a lion and a bear. Now the detail is coming back, you can kind of see like a mane and stuff on this one.
The planning authority has given the go-ahead for all the figurines to be painted gold, as long as all original features are restored.
We've got all the bathroom stuff, handles, everything.
We'll do that.
Hooks.
That's fine. They're coming through to do these 4 rooms.
OK.
After a big final push,
If you need mussels, I'll get you some.
most of the bedrooms are nearly guest-ready.
They're still actually working on the rooms at the moment, so once all the rooms have been completed, then they'll be putting photos up on the website, so then you can obviously have a really good look at the rooms.
And 3 months after they started taking bookings, Alex and Olga can finally get photos of the rooms taken.
I like the flowers. Much nicer, darling.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Wow, that's pretty good.
This is one of the junior suites, and I think they're rather nice. They're sort of calm, pretty rooms. And I really like a good hairdryer. I mean, I hate the ones, you know, you have in bathrooms that are fixed to the bathroom wall. It has been transformed, it really has. If you remember that car park and the 60s block, I mean, the whole place was hideous. Plastic windows, plastic fascia all the way round, not a tree in sight, no planting, all the rooms looking out onto the car park. The entrance was really hideous. Little bits of trellis with little pots hanging off it, you know, and everything was black. You know, all the walls were painted black, the doors were black. It was really, really ugly.
The outside of the hotel is now painted in French grey. The rooms in the 60s block now have French doors or Juliet balconies. And inside, the rooms have been transformed from purple and black into a green or blue scheme. The newly created 7 bedrooms in the middle of the hotel have a more bespoke style, but all tied together with Olga's nature theme.
I've done them sort of maybe a little bit grander, and I just added a colour, yellow if the room had yellow chairs, and green if it had green chairs. And it just all came together, and it looks rather nice. And those are my favourite rooms, actually. I'm really thrilled about the courtyard. That's made all the difference. And I like the way the flooring's been done, the walls have been done. All the details been done very nicely by the builders as well. I think we've done the best we could with what we had.
I mean, the place is looking fab. Now I have to fill it with guests, make sure they're happy, and try and look after them and manage with all this, you know, this new staff. It's really nerve-wracking.
The hard part is now, actually. We've just got to give good service. That's the main thing.
This morning, a year later than planned, and with builders still on site, the Polizzis are finally opening the hotel doors to paying guests.
Just want to get just the outside sort of done. We've up the top, got these windows here. So yeah, we've probably got till about 11 o'clock, I reckon. We should get everything done for the opening. In any job like this, it's always to the wire.
A very nervous Alex is doing final spot checks.
Does this belong here?
Yes, it's on that.
Oh, does it? Okay.
I'll just put it there so I don't paint.
I feel so anxious. I honestly don't know. Slightly hyperventilating. I feel sweaty, dry mouthed. Might be the 16 double espressos I've had on the other hand. As time ticks on, I'm getting more and more nervous. In a way, I'll be relieved when the first guests arrived and we actually get the waiting over and done with.
What is it? Look. Covers. Locks.
I feel like it's the first day of school. I feel sick with nerves.
Alex still only has around 2/3 of the staff she needs, with the kitchen and waiting staff particularly short.
When you have time, darling, I know you've got a list of things. I want to make sure that every window has its doors and windows open. So
I'll finish that. Don't put that. Should we go and put that on the list?
Let's.
Having had so little time with her staff prior to opening, Alex calls a morning meeting to help things get off to a smooth start.
Heads of department, into the bar, please. This week is all about systems, isn't it, really? Just, well, obviously, survival.
Systems, survival,
sanity. Yes, of course, that's a good one. I love it, the 3 S's. I like that. Systems, survival and sanity. I think it's too late for me. How are your laundry procedures going with the linen?
Very well, I think. They come in today to pick up the laundry.
And you've got your lists of how much
list,
of everything?
Yes. So I'm going to send the email to them, how many is in the box, how many we sent.
Great. Steph, I also want you to be prepared for the idea that people are going to be incredibly excited and might turn up before their rooms.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously we're gearing up for dinner tonight, and there's no official lunch reservations.
Exactly. I can't. Okay, fine. I'm most worried about, but listen, we're all going to have to just be incredibly patient with each other. Okay?
Great.
Onwards, let's go.
It's noon, and 3 hours before check-in, the first guests arrive.
Good Good afternoon. How welcome. So pleased that you're here. Let Isaac get you checked in and then do come through to the courtyard for a drink. Okay, lovely. Thanks, Isaac.
No problem.
Welcome to the flat. Oh, this looks nice.
Go. First impressions are fine.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Hi, welcome.
Has it literally been sort of up to the wire?
Oh, well, I still have builders here. They're all not in the bit where the guests are, which makes life a lot easier, to tell you the truth. But, I mean, they were still madly painting the front doors at 11 o'clock this morning. My first guest arrived at 12 and then wanted lunch, and we're not set up for lunch today.
How really lovely, look at that. I think it's gorgeous. Really, really lovely. And very nice and sort of restful as well, isn't it? It's just, there's just lots and lots of little details, which I'm an interior designer, so it's really interesting for me.
I just want to check it's working.
Okay,
thank you. Bye.
As it's the first day of opening, the kitchen is only serving dinner. But 4 guests have been mistakenly booked in for lunch.
Well, how did we book them in for lunch? We're not ready to do lunch.
No.
So how has that happened? How's that slipped through?
Well, it hasn't slipped through. I mean, I opened it thinking we would be open for lunch, like when I set it up years ago, you know.
Okay.
And we just haven't closed it out.
Closed it. Okay, well, I'm going to have to go and negotiate with Chef, or we're going to have to try and find somewhere else for them to eat.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's just 1-4 that slipped through the net because it was slipped up. It was set up so long ago.
Yeah. My concern was I don't have a menu for you to give them.
No.
And then also we run the risk of the other residents.
I agree. Okay. So we've got the George or the Ram at Firle.
Yeah, I was just thinking if they're hungry before they want to go somewhere now, I'll give them the George.
Alex has no choice but to send the guests elsewhere for lunch.
I'm so sorry.
Lovely, thanks, Kathy.
I'm so sorry we messed up already, but I don't know quite how it snuck through. Take this off because we're outside. I could feed you, but I'm worried then that the floodgates will open and we're just not set up for it. Can I get you a drink?
Yes, please.
What would you like? Lovely.
As Alex deals with one teething problem, the builders are dealing with another. Damp has appeared above the beams in the service area.
No, about the shower.
Well, my horrible worry is, like I said all along, is those shower screens are diverters, not full shower screens.
Yeah.
So if someone's a bit over-ambitious with a shower,
and
as soon as it gets onto the wooden floor, it's everywhere, was it? Is there someone in the room at the moment? They're out. They can go and have a look. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can make it do what it did. So I think the water's come out of the side of the shower tray there and hit this joint here and run underneath the marble and gone through. At least that's what I'm hoping.
I think so, yeah. We need to silicone it, don't we?
I'll tell you what might be better, actually, across the front of that shower is the grey marble silicone.
Yeah, it's on the marble, isn't it? Because it'll peel off otherwise, won't it?
Yeah. So we wouldn't always normally seal the perimeter of a skirting to a wooden flooring because the idea of wooden flooring is it expands and contracts. But in a situation where someone hops out of the shower dripping wet and the water goes onto the wooden floor and isn't absorbed by the mat, then we're in a situation where actually we need to try and prevent any water going downstairs. So it may be something we have to do on a semi-regular basis.
There's masses of last-minute niggles. I mean, there's so many things that aren't quite working correctly. But anyway, the main thing is just to hold my nerve and get through today.
But just as Alex seems to be getting on top of things, there's another problem, and it's serious.
Pen, check.
We've got major problems. The fire alarm is going off. I've got a full hotel. I'm literally going to have a heart attack. I just feel like, what am I going to do?
It's 6:30 p.m. on opening day at Alex and Olga's new hotel. The culmination of 18 months of blood, sweat and tears. And the full house of guests will shortly be expecting dinner.
No, it just keeps going off again.
But for the last 45 minutes, the fire alarm has been ringing on and off throughout the entire downstairs of the hotel.
There's a button on the right-hand side of the screen. It is a red button. On the right-hand side of the screen. There's a red button. A red button. Press that. Press it. Press that. A little dialogue.
He's been pressing it continuously.
No, you don't understand. We've been doing that. He's been standing there 45 minutes doing this.
Every time the reset button is pressed, the alarm sets off again.
There's a red cable going into a plug socket. Cable going into a plug socket? Yes. Pull that out. Pull it out. Left-hand side. That turns off the mains. Oh, okay. Sorry. A right plug socket we've got a full turn off. Sorry. Hang on, darling. Look, it's going off again now. Can you hear? Well, I've got a hotel full of guests. Jack just came and turned around and left, darling. There's no fire here. I need someone to help me. This is really urgent. Right. Screwdriver. Do you have a screwdriver? Right, hang on. I'll just see it's gone silent. Hang on. Have you done it? No. You've got to pull out the batteries.
To temporarily disable the alarm, Alex has removed the batteries from the alarm circuit board.
If I have another problem, I'm going to call you straight away, Patrick. And you'll be in first thing in the morning. First night of opening, it's a pretty disastrous beginning for me. Okay, thanks. Bye, bye, bye.
With the fire alarm silenced, Alex can now finally concentrate on her guests.
Let's just open some champagne. And as soon as anyone comes down, we're just offering them champagne and apologising. Okay?
This job is a faint-hearted.
Apologising begin. I just wanted to say sorry and thank you for your understanding so far.
Now, you haven't had a glass of champagne out of me to apologise for the incredible inconvenience of the fire alarm.
Now, Alex and the team must dust themselves off.
Service! Table 5 in the courtyard.
And get dinner out to their guests.
209, asparagus for the lady. 209, asparagus for the lady.
It's been one hell of a journey, but the hotel is finally open, and there's one last thank you.
Come on, let's have a beer. Oh, gosh. It's really hard to look back on the last 18 months. I mean, who doesn't have a drink? It's just been like a roller coaster. There've been such highs and there's been such lows, and I feel exhausted from the whole process.
It's a bit like having a baby. You sort of tend to forget the ghastliness of opening a hotel. You're a wonderful group of builders. Paul has been an absolute angel, I must say.
It's been great, it really has. I know we've had our ups and downs, and you do fly off the handle.
We were completely mad to do this. Why open another hotel when we could have been living in peace?
Mum and I have been so scratchy with each other. I mean, it's been a nightmare. We've argued more than we've ever argued before, I think, in my whole life. But I think she's fab, my mother.
Neither of us really would have been able to do it on our own.
Well, I want to say that I've had such fun with all of you, and you've all been really patient with me, with my rages. It's only you guys who've been here from the beginning know what a bloody pig's ear this was before. And look what a silk purse we've made. I'm just so incredibly proud of what we've done here. And I just want to thank every single one of you so much from the bottom of my heart. They've just been the most amazing team to work with. And now I've just got to kind of dust myself off and shake myself up. Now I've got to be a hotelier. The bit that I'm going to be proud of is when we make this a bloody good hotel. And we've got a way to go yet.
What price 5 minutes of fame? It might be steeper than you think. Brand new 3-night event Sex and Power starts Tuesday at 9 with Celebrity Wars. Brand new after the break, it's the IT experts' turn to call support as a couple better at cleaning hard drives than floors make a filthy house SOS.